Today we're making hummus completely from scratch and serving it with toasted pine nuts, crunchy pita bread, and fresh Greek salad. To say that hummus is versatile would be a giant understatement. I mean, where do I even begin? You can add it into wraps, sandwiches, on top of eggs, serve it alongside raw or roasted vegetables. You can also do what I'm doing today, is let hummus be the star of the show. Serve it almost as a meal while it's still warm with a drizzle of olive oil, some fresh spices, and toasted pine nuts. We have a lot to cover, so let's dive in. We're gonna start off by covering 1 cup of garbanzo beans with plenty of filtered water for about 8 hours. What I normally do though is soak them overnight when I know that I'll be cooking them the following day. So here I have about 1 cup of pre-soaked beans. One thing to keep in mind is that chickpeas usually double or sometimes triple in volume when cooked. So if you start off with 1 cup of raw chickpeas, it will give you 2 to 3 cups of cooked. To cook these, transfer into a heavy bottom pan, cover with plenty of water, a few inches over the top of garbanzo beans, and then bring them to a simmer over medium-high heat. Reduce the heat to low, cover with the lid, and cook for about 1 to 1.5 hours, or until the beans are soft and creamy. At this point, you're probably thinking this is so much work between the soaking, the cooking, the preparation process, but I promise you it's worth it at the end. You can easily just use canned chickpeas for this recipe, but when you make it from scratch, it's so much more creamy and flavorful. While the beans are cooking, this gives us plenty of time to work on the rest of the ingredients. I want to top our fresh hummus with toasted pine nuts, so I'm gonna work on that next. Place the desired amount of pine nuts in a dry sauté pan over medium heat and toast. Toss them quite frequently until they begin to darken, for about 2 to 3 minutes. Keep in mind that they'll keep cooking even though they're off the fire, so make sure you remove them from heat before they overcook. Transfer into a bowl and set it aside for now. You can always taste them along the way to make sure that they're toasted to your liking. Next, let's make our Greek salad. Cut up some cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, purple onions, and Kalamata olives. Crumble some goat's cheese on the top, add chopped parsley, and drizzle with olive oil. Add salt and pepper to taste. Mix everything together and set it aside for now. Okay, it's been 1.5 hours and our chickpeas are now ready. Give them a quick taste to make sure that they're cooked through. One of the things that makes this hummus pillowy soft and super smooth is removing the chickpea skins. Cover them with cold water and rub them vigorously with your hands for a couple of minutes. You'll notice that the shells begin to separate and float to the top. Now you can easily just fish them out and remove them from the bowl. You don't have to remove every single one of them, just remove as much as you can. Drain the chickpeas and transfer into a food processor or blender. Begin by pulsing them on low speed first. Scrape off sides with a tamper to reincorporate beans back in. You'll notice they're not going to blend really well at this point, which is to be expected. Next, add in half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit at a time. This is going to help with the blending a little bit as the texture begins to thin out. Add juice of 1 lemon. Add salt, pepper, and about a half a teaspoon of optional cumin. Next, I'm adding 3 cloves of garlic, but you can start off with just 1, and as you blend, make taste tests and decide if you want to add more garlic. Next, add half a cup of tahini, which is just sesame seed paste, and keep blending. The kind of tahini you choose is really important, as some brands are really thick and bitter. The older the tahini, the more bitter it is normally. So make sure you check the expiration date on the jar and get the freshest tahini you can find. I have here a glass of iced water because at this point, the texture might start getting thick again, and this is what's going to help to thin it out and make the hummus pillowy soft. Add a teaspoon at a time until you reach a desired consistency. Now that the texture looks exactly how I want, it's time for the last taste test. You can now see whether you need to adjust your salt, spices, lemon, or garlic. Spread a generous amount of hummus on a plate. put some toasted pine nuts over the top, a little bit of paprika, and sumac. If you're not familiar with sumac, it's not spicy at all. It has more of a sour, lemon-like flavor with a lot more complexity to it. Now I'm adding our Greek salad on the side and gluten-free pita bread. By the way, I've made a detailed video on how to make gluten-free pita bread from scratch, so I'm gonna link it below this video. If you guys got value out of this video, I invite you to like it, and if you're brand new here, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.